In every man's life, he must discern his desire for what he loves and what he needs. For the frustrated game viewer, the need for a good adventure game has been the combination of great courage and disparity. With so many massive shooting games, proving man's inability to promote self-sufficiency and self-productivity, he must search far and wide into the caverns for a great treasure that every gamer wishes once thy controller is in hand. And that is a chance to explore all of the glories the programmers wish to concoct. Tonight, another journey begins for the quest for this wizard's soul.
Hey, I need to talk to you about something. You know, lately I've been playing a lot of shooting games, and because of the influx of shooting games that's pretty much harnessed the market, I feel like everybody out here is being trained to be an ace combat soldier for World War III. So I really want to try something different this time. I mean, do you have anything that you can suggest?
I don't know if you've come to help, but I've summoned you for something very important.
Well, what is it? And let me know if it's money, because I'm not touching no more drugs.
The game you seek resides within you. Released in 1991, there stood 5 great warriors in search of a treasure, a ruby, that was slain for the dragon's eye.
You know, that plot sounds like King of Dragons from Super Nintendo.
Exactly. And I am one of the grandfathers of one of those warriors. My grandson went in that quest to restore my powers. He was slain, and now someone must go back and do what they can to avenge my power. You must defeat this game.
Alright, bet. Did it with Alice, kid? I can do it with this.
No, for what exists in 2011 doesn't exist in 2017. The Call of Duty game you used back then can't work in this situation. It can't be any more shooting games.
Alright.
Here, take this. This is a map of the Venerable Trail. If you follow this map, you should be able to find the crystals in alignment properly.
Sounds simple enough.
Here, take these. These stones channel powerful energies from other dimensional time spots that will help you stabilize everything around you. You must keep these stones on to remain balanced on the Venerable Island.
Alright. Give me a few days.
There isn't much time. You must go. You must go now.
Well, are you gonna give me a free game for this or something?
You must go. The crystal. The crystal.
So today we're going to look at an adventure game from the early 90s. I don't know if a lot of people remember well, but back then a lot of companies took a bite out of making their own RPG adventure fantasy. And today we have King of Dragons. I didn't have a Super Nintendo back in the day, so I didn't have much of a childhood experience. But I did play it a lot on this collection back in the early 2000s, so I can say it's a pretty good game. And it reminds me a lot of Senjoku. You know, they both were released in the same year. They both have the same style and design to them, and they both were really expensive. I mean, Senjoku was about $50, and then this game itself on the Super Nintendo is about $50. So we're not going to have the original experience. We're going to have the collection experience again. So it's time to take an adventure back to the past.
Many people think this is one of the best side-scrolling adventure games that's out, and it's memorable with its music, the scenery, the overall essence of the game. And you know, not to sound like the Christ of Sega or anything, but you know, Golden Axe always seemed to be my preference when it came to these type of games. But if you had the money, then King of Dragons wouldn't have been a bad choice. I know in the other original arcade versions, you can see the character's biography, but instead you get to see a wonderful color paletted background of destroyed bridges, and then you get to see gravel effects whenever bosses fall on the ground. The fighting combat isn't that bad either. It doesn't feel stiff. I wish my character were a little larger, but it's cool because it fits the tone of the game. I mean, you aren't supposed to be the most powerful person. Every level has a boss that's 3 times your size, and they possess a challenge that you won't be able to surpass easily unless you upgrade your experience. After some fights, you release other fighters that weren't able to defeat the boss, like in Senjoku, and these guys help lead you into your next objectives. This thing is one of the funniest bosses I've fought in a while. It's something about the way they're dancing around you and the way they're synchronizing their attack patterns. It's annoying but at the same time entertaining. It's like being in recess, and every time you attempt to get on the slide, the #1 classroom bully and his goons surround you while you're on the slide trying to go down and walk away. You go through a world map on a conquest through hidden caves and some village areas, slaughtering any victim in your path. Why? Well, to take on all the precious gold and gems that you can find from this red dragon. I can't believe that I can't beat the red dragon. I mean, it sounds more resourceful to beat him, to be like this rich fire-breathing dragon, rather than to be this cave peasant who's just looking for whatever gems or scraps that he can find. As mentioned, you can switch characters in between deaths, which is very useful if you get tired of using the same guy. And I would have to say the wizard is my favorite because he can shoot projectiles, and he can use close combat with his staff if necessary, and he can also use his flame. The other guys have swords, so there isn't really too much difference in them. One may be able to take more hits than the other, such as the cleric absorbing more hits than the normal fighter, but that's truly the only difference I've noticed in them. Traditionally, the same reoccurring enemies you see in other medieval type adventure games appear in King of Dragons, but the sprites and character designs are very creative, and I see a real difference. The green looks very vibrant, and so do the other red and blue colors. I like how you can notice what everything is doing, and you can notice everything around you, and you can actually see the action that's occurring as well. The red dragon is pretty easy. All you really have to do is avoid his fire attack, and then his claws or his tail whenever he switches positions. And just pay attention to him when he switches positions like I just mentioned. I mean, he's really not that difficult. But this was a pretty good game for its time, and it's something that you can actually play today if you've never experienced it before.
Here you go, buddy.
Haven't felt that energy in years.
Okay.
Now I must return to the time which I existed. Thank you, and always remember that game will always reside within you. Thank you once again.
See, that's why you don't do things for free anymore.